message.
So I think I should do the interview. I feel it will be good for people to hear what happened.
Along the border of Victoria's Mount Buffalo National Park, a family-run dairy farm is doing its best to stay afloat. The White family business has survived plummeting milk prices and drought, but they almost lost it all when their energy company Alinta tried to bankrupt them. When Carolyn and husband Mark took over the farm, it included a debt of almost $30,000 with Alinta. And you were paying it back in instalments?
Yeah, we agreed to do $2,000 a month until we were more viable as a farm, because obviously, yeah, we started at ground zero with the running of the farm, and I thought they were understanding with that.
Carolyn says she missed a payment and Alinta went in hard, issuing a bankruptcy notice.
There was no letters saying, you know, your account will be disconnected, or it went from nothing to bankruptcy, yeah, right before Christmas.
The family sold assets to clear the debt. But then, in the midst of summer's devastating bushfires, Alinta rang them to say they had to pay thousands of dollars in legal costs or face bankruptcy. Did you explain that you were surrounded by bushfires?
Yeah. And she was just rudely interrupting me, just saying that they wanted the money and that they'd continue with bankruptcy if we did not comply.
In January, the federal court dismissed the bankruptcy and ordered Alinta pay costs to family patriarch David White. And what about you, Mark? What do you think about Alinta?
Totally disgusting. Involved my father at his age and just no respect at all.
I'm sure you couldn't imagine life without this farm.
No, not really. I wouldn't know what to do.
Alinta sells gas and electricity to more than 1 million Australians. In 2017, it was bought for $4 billion by a Chinese-owned private company, Chow Tai Fook, after the Foreign Investment Review Board gave the green light for its sale. Scott Morrison, then Treasurer, made the deal official on the proviso it would satisfy a series of secret conditions. Tonight, 7:30 can reveal what those conditions were. The Foreign Investment Review Board is shrouded in secrecy. When large foreign takeovers are approved, it sets secret conditions. These are the files you're not meant to see. Leaked documents reveal they were concerned about data security. These emails flag issues with a third-party provider used by Alinta to sign up customers. Its information is stored overseas. But the most alarming document is an internal report assigning a red risk rating on privacy compliance. It says Alinta may not be adequately protecting personal information and at times doesn't meet the requirements of privacy laws.
Message received today at 1:34 p.m.
Hi, Adele. It's Alan Fells here. I'm looking forward to seeing you at 3 o'clock at Melbourne University. And would you please bring those documents? Thanks.
Professor Alan Fells used to regulate the energy industry as the chair of the ACCC.
How did you get these?
A whistleblower sent them to me. Should Australians be concerned?
Australians should be very concerned.
Get a great energy deal. Join over 1 million Australians. Switch to Alinta Energy.
It's official. Alinta Energy customers are the most satisfied.
June last year, I got an email from my energy provider, AGL, telling me that they were sorry to see me leaving. I was really confused by this because I hadn't requested to leave AGL. Gave them a ring and they said, yes, Alinta Energy is now going to be your provider. It took approximately 3 or 4 months to finally get finalised. Lots of phone calls, lots of emails, and lots of different departments in several different countries. The whole situation made me feel very violated, that somebody could just take my account without any authorisation. Companies like Alinta are doing this without authorisation. Like I said, I really do worry about the elderly and those that aren't able to function by themselves.
Do you think Alinta is letting its customers down?
Yes.
Privacy academic Dr. Vanessa Teague says the company's poor protection of customer details leaves the public vulnerable.
If that kind of information fell into the wrong hands, there's the potential for identity theft, in other words, for somebody malicious pretending to be you, such as, for example, trying to open a bank account in your name, trying to take out a loan in your name, and that can have disastrous consequences.
Danny Price has spent most of his life advising governments and companies on energy. He's also previously advised Alinta. Have you noticed any change in Alinta since it was bought out in 2017?
Yeah, look, they developed into a much more powerful force in the retail market. They've been very active growing their customer base. So they're quite aggressive in their marketing because they want to grow quickly.
Nice, Gary. Gee, it's great of you to volunteer to wash the boys' test kit.
Somebody's obviously with Alinta Energy.
Yeah, especially if they're great energy deals.
Alinta's goal is to sign up thousands of new customers each week with the promise of cheap gas and electricity.
Switch to Alinta Energy, supporting your home team.
It also wants to be seen. Just look at the Australian men's cricket team. It's hard to miss the Alinta logo. 730 has obtained this footage, which shows their sales tactics. In this undercover video, the salesman starts off with a lie.
There are no companies in Australia that are throwing out.
Oh, really?
Not for energy anyway.
And another lie.
All the data gathered here today would be protected under credit and privacy policies.
And then the big sell.
There is not a company in Queensland that has a price as low as us. It's up to the other companies to try and match us.
Okay.
In a statement, Alinta says despite rapid growth, proportionately, customer complaints have remained stable. This is the data from the Australian Energy Regulator.
Switch to Alinta Energy and join over 1 million Australians.
We did not wish, nor did we ever agree to be with Alinta Energy. They just signed Adrian up basically like that.
This year, pensioner Adrian Lenti was late to pay Alinta by 6 business days and was hit with a $107 late fee for a $270 bill.
They basically suckered him in.
Now they've sent in debt collectors.
The part that's hurting me is this. I've never had bad credit anywhere in my whole life. And I'm 90 years old now, so... But the fact is that now they're trying to tell me that I'm going to lose my credit rating.
What impact do you think this story will have on Alinta?
I think Alinta Energy would be pretty freaked out about revelation of these problems.
The personal information of more than 1 million gas and electricity customers is at risk.
Alinta Energy are breaching privacy laws.
Scott Morrison has come under fire for approving the sale of an energy company to China.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister.
Alinta declined an interview, but in a statement it says they take compliance with privacy laws seriously and told 730 there had been 1 data breach this year by an individual and another 24 cases of fraudulent behaviour by third-party sales teams since 2018, where sales were done without customer consent. Alinta's owner, Chow Tai Fook, inherited key pieces of Australia's critical infrastructure, including power stations in Queensland and Western Australia, and their latest purchase, the $1 billion coal-fired power station in eastern Victoria. Should Australians be concerned?
Well, the Australian community is concerned. It's very difficult for businesses operating in that environment to know whether they're competing with those sorts of companies on an equal commercial basis, or whether they're competing with a regime that has interests that are beyond purely commercial.
The Foreign Investment Review Board advises the Treasurer on large foreign takeovers. In 2018, it made decisions on more than 11,000 investment proposals worth $163 billion and knocked back only 5. Do you think the Foreign Investment Review Board should be overhauled?
It's not transparent. You don't know the reasons or the nature of its decision, especially the conditions it set are not public.
Having seen the report about privacy and how Alinta handles personal information of hundreds of thousands, possibly 1 million customers, what does that say about the process? And was that in the national interest for it to get the green light to be sold?
In retrospect, it doesn't look like it was in the national interest.
The question now is, will the government continue to allow the sale of critical infrastructure to foreign companies without proper checks and transparency? And is the Foreign Investment Review Board the right body to police such important decisions?
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.